Ever heard of a place called the Maldives of Europe? Me neither, until I stumbled upon it on a travel blog. And boy, was I intrigued. So I figured what better way to find out if this place actually lives up to its name than coming here and experiencing it for myself. So get in and buckle up, we're about to hit the beaches. Good morning and hello from Albania. I'm in a place called Ksamil. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this correctly. If you're Albanian, please correct me in the comments. It is supposedly also called the Maldives of Europe. I arrived a couple days ago already, but it's been raining non-stop ever since. Today, it's finally nice and sunny. So let's go outside and explore. It's beginning of April, so it's still really quiet here. I feel like I'm the only tourist. I guess the proper tourist season doesn't start until May. Kind of feels like I have the whole place to myself. I love it. There's some bananas growing. Ooh. We made it to the beach. I think I found paradise. Can you believe this is in Europe? It's insane. It looks like in the Caribbean here. This is my first time in Albania. It's actually been on my list for a few years now because everyone I know who's already been here has told me that it's absolutely amazing. I have to admit, prior to booking this trip, I knew absolutely nothing about Albania, so shame on me. My goal is to learn a few basic phrases in Albanian. Hopefully the locals are gonna be patient with me. Let's go find some food. But before we do anything else, we have to do a room tour. This is the bedroom / living room. Please enjoy this elevator music and a little presentation of my apartment so that you can get a better idea about accommodations in this town. I am paying 500 euros for 3 weeks here. I think it's a pretty good deal. However, keep in mind that it is still low season. And it even comes with a little terrace. I also have the absolute kindest hosts you can imagine. They're a local family who live in the same building. The owner of the place just came by and she brought me some homemade food. It's so sweet. Look at this. It looks so yummy. She said this is börek. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but look at the layers. Oh, this looks so good. Let's give it a try. That's delicious. Now, one thing to be aware of are the logistics of getting here, and this is also where I have slight regrets. There are 2 ways to get to Ksamil. You either take a 5-hour bus ride from the capital Tirana to the nearest city Sarande, which costs about 20 euros, and then take a taxi from there, or you fly into Corfu in Greece, which is the island right next to Ksamil, and then take a ferry over. However, flights to Corfu were pretty expensive, so I flew into Tirana and took the bus. If I had to do it again, I would definitely fly to Corfu and pay twice the amount for my flight, just because it's a lot more convenient than spending almost an extra travel day on the bus. I was pretty exhausted after my bus ride and still had to spend the night in a hotel in Tirana until my flight home the next day. But if you don't mind longer bus rides or if you want to see other places along the way, the bus is definitely a great option. Ksamil is famous on social media for its beauty and is called the Maldives of Europe, which obviously creates a massive expectation. My impression is that the water is in fact as blue as on Instagram, but I'm not 100% convinced that its beauty is all natural, and I'll explain what I mean by that and whether I believe it's truly worth coming here in a minute. But first, let's talk about safety. I'm constantly walking around alone, during the day, in the evenings and in the dark, and I feel completely fine even though there's not that many people around yet. Obviously, this is just my personal experience, but I've never had a sketchy moment or felt scared. Also, during my whole time here, I've never been catcalled or flirted at, and in all my years of traveling, that's honestly pretty rare. Again, other people's experience might be different, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised by how safe I felt the whole 3 weeks that I spent in Ksamil. There are quite a lot of stray dogs around, but they're pretty chill. They just do their own thing and they'll pretty much leave you alone unless you approach them first. I find them quite cute and I always get happy when I see them walking down the street. I came to Ksamil to start the summer a bit earlier and relax, and because there was not much going on yet, it worked out perfectly. I heard that it gets insanely crowded here during the peak summer months, and that apparently you're not even allowed to stay on the beach unless you rent a sunbed because it gets that busy. So I guess coming here before the season really kicks off definitely has its advantages, even though you might get a few rainy days here and there. I personally didn't mind the more quiet days. In fact, I really enjoyed them because I came here with the intention of working on some of my personal projects, and I also took my job with me, so I was working remotely from my laptop a few days a week as well. I'm gonna be so honest with you, I gave up tanning years ago because that skin cancer risk is really scary, and I'm trying my best to avoid long-time sun exposure. So wear your SPFs, my friends, and let's at least try to do our best to protect our beautiful skin. I know, it's almost impossible to avoid the sun completely, especially if you're a summer girly like me. But let's at least try and do a little bit better. Let's get back to the question, is this place really as magical as it looks like on social media? In all honesty, the first time I saw some of these blue beaches, I was speechless. The color of the water is amazing, and even though the town isn't huge, there are so many tiny beaches lining the shore. I literally spent days just beach hopping, walking from one beach to the next. However, being here right before the season starts, I also got to witness a lot of the preparations that took place to get this town ready for a massive storm of tourists. And unfortunately, as I learned, almost all of the sand on Ksamil's beaches is artificial. So if you're someone who values natural beauty, this place might not be it. Do you see this milky water? That's because they just added new sand to that beach. So I guess it's not all natural here. Does this place feel truly authentic? Not 100%. Does it bother me? Considering that I knew beforehand that Ksamil is rather touristy and I really just wanted to relax by the beach for a few weeks, it doesn't bother me that much. If you're someone who just wants to enjoy the blue water, spend the whole day by the beach, sip on some cocktails and then go for dinner afterwards, this place is definitely not a bad choice. Everything is close by, you can walk pretty much anywhere, there's plenty of bars and restaurants. I will say though that the supermarkets are on the pricier side, but considering that this is a touristy place, it kinda makes sense. It does get really crowded during the summer months though, so if you prefer it to be a little more quiet, plan to be here either right before or after peak season. So is it really the Maldives of Europe? Actually, I don't know. I've never been to the proper Maldives. But do I believe Ksamil is worth it? For a fun beach holiday, I would say so, yeah. I had a great time here. Just maybe don't look too closely at the sand. In all honesty, I believe Albania is really beautiful and still an underrated travel destination, and I will definitely be back for more.